The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken. Warren Buffett didn't say that for effect. He lived it. Because while most billionaires are busy buying islands, private jets, and palatial homes with glass walls and golf courses, Buffett did something radically different. He stayed exactly where he started. He still lives in the same Omaha house he bought back in 1958 for $31,500. Think about that for a second. A man worth over $100 billion wakes up every morning in the same modest brick house. No butler, no extravagant upgrades, just the same four walls and decades of simple habits. Why? Because for Warren Buffett, wealth was never about showing off. It was about showing up, consistently. He could have moved to Beverly Hills. He could have taken over Manhattan's skyline. He could have built a mansion in every country on Earth. But he didn't. He once said, "It would drive me crazy to have 10 homes." He doesn't want to own more things. He wants to own more time and more peace. Because when your life gets cluttered with excess, you don't own those things. They own you. That's the kind of wisdom most people only understand when it's too late. For years, Buffett drove a used Cadillac. Not because he couldn't afford a new one, but because it worked. It got him from point A to point B, and that was enough. His car was never a statement. It was just a car. Even when he finally bought a private jet, at 76 years old, he named it the Indefensible, like he was mocking the idea of indulgence itself. He didn't see extravagance as something to aspire to. He saw it as a distraction. Now here's something that will blow your mind. Every morning, Warren Buffett gets breakfast at McDonald's. No private chef, no gourmet delivery, just a drive-through. And get this, he decides what to order based on how the stock market is doing that day. If the Dow is down, he goes for the cheaper meal, $2.61. If the market is flat, maybe the $2.95 combo. And if things are looking good, he splurges with the $3.17 option. He counts out exact change from a cup in his car. Let that sink in. The man running one of the world's largest investment firms, picking breakfast based on market sentiment and spare coins. That's not about being cheap. That's about being mindful. Because how you handle the small decisions reveals how you'll handle the big ones. Buffett doesn't wear Rolex watches. He doesn't care for Italian suits. He doesn't fly to Paris for lunch. He wears basic clothes, uses a flip phone, buys things for function, not status. Because he knows something most people don't. Trying to impress others is the fastest way to become a prisoner to their opinions. He once said, "If you buy things you don't need, soon you'll sell things you do." That's not just clever. That's truth most of us don't want to face. Even as a teenager, Buffett was different. While other kids spent their money on candy and bikes, he was saving 35% of his income from delivering newspapers. He kept handwritten notebooks, logging every penny. He studied interest rates before he even thought about dating. At 14, he bought a pinball machine, put it in a barber shop, and used the profits to buy more machines. By 17, he was making more than his high school teachers. But he didn't throw it away on parties or shiny cars. He reinvested, he compounded, he repeated. Even now, as one of the richest people alive, he clips coupons, splits dinner bills, and tracks what others ignore. Because frugality isn't a trend for him. It's a mindset, a form of respect, for time, for discipline, for money itself. Buffett lives rich, not in stuff, but in freedom. Freedom to read, to think, to choose, to walk away from any deal he doesn't like. He doesn't chase upgrades. He buys what lasts. He doesn't measure wealth by how much he spends, but by how little he needs to be happy. And in that, there's something profoundly freeing. Because no thread count can give you peace of mind. No luxury car can steer you away from regret. And no mansion can silence the noise in your head. He once said, "You can't buy time or peace with money." And so, he doesn't try. Most people fail at living below their means, not because they can't, but because they won't. because they're addicted to looking successful instead of actually being secure. They spend to feel valuable. They inflate their lifestyle every time their income increases. They buy more, not because they need more, but because someone else has more. They chase comparison instead of contentment. And in doing so, they become stuck. Stuck in jobs they hate to pay for things they don't need, to impress people they don't even know. Buffett, he does the opposite. He saves first, then lives on what's left. And that's why his wealth grows, while others' wealth disappears. He teaches this: if you can't manage $100, you won't suddenly become wise with $1 million. Because money doesn't change habits, it magnifies them. If you're undisciplined with a little, you'll be reckless with a lot. He tells young people, track every expense. Build good habits early. Resist the urge to impress. Because ego is expensive, and chasing approval will cost you everything. Buffett could have retired decades ago, but he didn't, because he never saw work as a punishment. He saw it as play. He still reads, still writes, still shows up to the office. Because when you live below your means, you don't feel the need to escape your life. You're not running from debt. You're not running from image. You're not running at all. You're walking steadily on your terms. Luxury, he teaches, is not freedom. It's often another set of chains. Chains of maintenance, of pressure, of keeping up appearances. But when you live below your means, you create space. Financial space. Mental space, emotional space. Space to think clearly. To make better choices. To stay patient when others panic. When others are rushing to spend, Buffett is waiting to invest. When others are reacting, he's thinking. When others are upgrading, he's holding steady. And that's the difference. Because real wealth is quiet. It's not a flashy car or a viral vacation. It's the calm of knowing you're not dependent. It's the freedom of knowing your life is yours. Not leased, not borrowed, not fragile. Living below your means isn't about restriction. It's about release. Release from comparison, from anxiety, from needing more. Because the richest man is not the one who spends the most. It's the one who needs the least. And that man, more often than not, walks quietly through a modest home in Omaha, holding a McDonald's bag, counting coins, reading reports, and thinking deeper than any billionaire who ever flaunted their wealth. Now some people hear all this and think, sure, it's easy to be frugal when you're already rich. But that's the point most people miss. Buffett didn't get rich and then become disciplined. He became disciplined, and then he got rich. His wealth is not a cause of his habits, it's the result of them. If anything, his lifestyle barely changed after the billions came in. It's as if money only amplified what was already there. Patience, restraint, and clarity. You see, money is a magnifying glass. It makes the reckless more reckless, and the wise more powerful. Buffett's habits weren't built in luxury. They were forged in the quiet corners of his childhood bedroom with a notebook, a calculator, and a stack of newspaper delivery routes. He mastered delayed gratification. He learned to plant seeds today that might not bear fruit for years. That's something our modern world struggles with. We want everything now. Now results, now rewards, now recognition. But Warren Buffett's empire wasn't built in a year. It was built over decades of boring, consistent, thoughtful decision-making. And that's what makes his story so powerful. Because it means this kind of success isn't just for the lucky few. It's not built on a one-time windfall or a tech startup miracle. It's built on habits that anyone can start. Today, tracking your spending, living on less than you earn, investing early, avoiding lifestyle creep, saying no to ego. These don't require a billion-dollar brain. They require something harder: self-awareness and self-control. And the truth is, those two qualities are more rare than genius. That's why most people stay stuck. Not because they aren't smart, but because they trade what they want most for what they want now. Buffett never made that trade. He sacrificed the illusion of wealth for the real thing. He didn't chase more. He mastered enough. And in that choice, he unlocked the most valuable thing money can ever buy. No, not a mansion, not a jet. Peace. The kind of peace that comes when you don't owe anyone anything. Not a bank, not an employer, not your neighbor's expectations. Peace that lets you spend your time thinking, reading, learning, becoming, not performing. Because at the end of the day, wealth is not about the money. It's about what the money lets you do and who it lets you become. If you enjoyed this, I'll be sharing more content just like this. Subscribe, and thanks for watching.